What's up, guys? Check out this beautiful 1991 Stephen Davies made Washburn N4 Nuno Bettencourt signature. This is the one that started it all. They started making these. They made a limited run in 1990 of 20 guitars, starting with 901 through 920. Of course, I used to own 901 and I sold it to Nuno Bettencourt himself, and he is carrying that guitar around with him on the road right now. And really super stoked to see that he's playing that guitar and enjoying it. And I've owned a couple Davies in the last year, and this is probably one of the coolest because it's got more similarities with the 901 than any other guitar that I've had, because this is a leftover body from 1990. So when they started making the official run of the 1991 Washburn N4s, they did not have a recessed tremolo cavity cover like you see here. The only guitars that had these were the 1990 models, and they only made a couple of them. They were supposed to make 20 of them. All the experts and the people that I know really doubt that they ever really made 20 of them before the 1991s rolled around. But they supposedly made 901 through 920. I've only seen through about 905, 901 through 905. I've got a couple friends that own 902 and 904, and friends that I've got all over the world that own those guitars. And I was just talking to one of my good friends the other day that owns, I think, 904. And we both he's actually the one that pointed out that this thing was a leftover 1990 body. So, I don't think that they really made 20 of those. And if you look at any Davies N4 from 1991, the tremolo cavity cover is not recessed like this. It's like it's on top of the wood. And the reason behind that was when they first designed this guitar and built it this way, they realized really quick that when you lower the action down, the bottom of the tremolo hit the cavity cover. So to eliminate that, they really couldn't redesign the guitar, so they just, instead of putting a recessed trim cavity cover on it, they just made it kind of lay on the back of the guitar, and it actually stuck out on the back of the body. And that's the way they did it for a long time. So this is a really rare Davies because it does have that recessed tremolo cavity cover, like a 1990 model. I've talked to my buddy that worked at Washburn, and he said, yeah, of course they had leftover parts from the initial run, and that's probably what this is. So it's a really cool Davies. It's, like I said, it's a 91, early 91. If you look up at the serial number, the end of the serial number is 91. That indicates that this guitar, if I can get my camera to focus there, was built in January of 91. It also has the Washburn branded tuners like you will find on the very first run in 91. So they made, several hundred of these, and then they started making the serial number start with 91. And you'll see some guitars out there that have 91 at the beginning of the serial number, and that's from a later run later in the year of in 91. But if you want a really super early rare Davies, this is about as cool as it gets. This is actually number 43, and built in January of 91. And like I said, it's got a really cool thing similar to the 901. It's got that recessed trim cavity cover, and you have to leave it off. If you look at the 901 and you look at Nuno's number one guitar, which is now retired, they both have this recessed cover, and he plays with it off of there because it's impossible to properly use the guitar and set the action low. with that cover on the back of there, so you have to leave it off all the time if you're really using the guitar. Of course, it's got the Stevens extended cutaway, got the Davies covers on the back. Really super clean guitar. It's got a couple little stains kind of up on the headstock area right there, but looks kind of cool. Gives it some character. If you look at the front of it, it's got a little bit of wear on the fin there. And of course, you know the fins, they shrink on these guitars. And especially if you look at Nuno's #1 guitar, it's all shrunken up and shriveled up here in the corner in the fin there. And it's got cracks all through it. And it's just part of age, you know. We're all getting older, so these guitars hold up about like people do. Actually, probably a little bit better. But it's got the Kaler Steeler tremolo. It's got the Bill Lawrence. And it's got the Seymour Duncan 59 in the neck, just like any N4 you'd find. What's really cool about this guitar is it doesn't sound anything like a typical N4 with a Bill Lawrence in it. And I think it's the pickup. You know, these Bill Lawrences are very quirky. You really don't know what you're going to get. You might get one that's 11K. You might get one that's 16K. You might get one that's insanely bright. Or you might get one like this that's... This pickup in this guitar sounds a lot like a Seymour Duncan custom to me. The mids are cut back a little bit, and it's got a lot of bass, and it's got a lot of chug. And it doesn't sound like your typical Bill Lawrence L500 XL, and I really dig that. It's kind of everything I like about a Bill Lawrence without everything I don't like about a Bill Lawrence. So... I really love the sound of this guitar. It plays really great. If you're comparing one of these guitars to a newer N4, you know, the necks on these things, they don't really seem bowed, but right here in, you know, about the 12th fret, the action sets a little bit higher, even though the action on the guitar is fairly low. When you get down here in this register, on the, you know, the low E side, it seems kind of a little bit higher than the newer guitars, but it really has its own sound. These Davies N4s have a really big, huge sound, especially when you play chords on them. So I think that has a little bit to do with it. It's kind of the neck angle. You know, I own a 4N, and everybody talks about, you know, how a 4N is supposed to be like a Davies, and it is in a certain way, but, you know, they talk about the neck angle and all that. It's not the same neck. You know, it's that shaved down neck because the guy that owned the original 4N sanded down the back of the neck and made it really, really small up here in the cowboy chords, and it seems really super playable because the neck's thinner on it. But as far as the neck angle, I don't think, you know, I own a 4N, and the neck angle is nothing like a Davies. And you really can feel the difference when you switch guitars. You know, the Davies just has a certain feel to it, and the neck sits at a certain angle. Of course, it's got the Kaler nut up there. And it's just a beautiful guitar. This one's got really super clean frets, a really great fretboard. And it's just a beautiful guitar. It's got the Stevens extended cutaway stuff there. But I just wanted to share this with everybody. I love this guitar, and I hope to make some more videos with it soon. Hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you next time.